I'm Max Pringle with these headlines. President Trump slapped 25% tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum coming into the country. Economists say it risks higher prices for Americans. More from Ben Thomas.
We were being pummeled by both friend and foe alike.
President Trump has removed the exceptions and exemptions from his 2018 tariffs on steel and hiked his tariff on aluminum, meaning all steel and aluminum imports will be taxed at a minimum of 25%.
Our nation requires steel and aluminum to be made in America, not in foreign lands. We need to create, in order to protect our country's future, a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing and production, the likes of which has not been seen for many decades.
Asked whether those tariffs might make things more expensive for Americans.
They're going to ultimately have a price reduction because they're going to make their steel here. There's not going to be any tariff. These foreign companies will move to the United States, will make their steel and aluminum in the United States.
Ben Thomas, Washington.
The European Union has said that Donald Trump's 25% tariff on all imported steel and aluminum won't go unanswered. It comes as the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is meeting with Vice President Vance in Paris on the sidelines of an AI summit. William Denslow reports.
In a statement, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that the tariffs were unjustified and will not go unanswered. She warns that the EU will respond with firm, proportionate countermeasures. Back in 2018, Donald Trump imposed tariffs of 25% and 10% on EU steel and aluminium, triggering retaliatory action from the bloc, targeting goods like Harley-Davidsons and bourbon. The EU warns that tariffs are bad for business and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. William Denslow, Brussels.
Vice President J.D. Vance told a Paris AI summit that the Trump administration will make sure that AI systems developed in the U.S. will be free from political bias and will ensure free speech. Karen Chamas has more.
Speaking at the summit in Paris, Vice President Vance said,
"We feel very strongly that AI must remain free from ideological bias and that American AI will not be co-opted into a tool for authoritarian censorship."
He also used his speech to world leaders, tech bosses and researchers to repeatedly push back against what he called excessive regulation of the rapidly growing AI industry, which he said would kill off the transformative industry. Vance also attempted to reassure Americans that AI would not take over their jobs.
AI, I really believe, will facilitate and make people more productive. It is not going to replace human beings.
Concerns over AI's potential dangers have loomed over the summit, particularly as nations grapple with how to regulate a technology that is increasingly entwined with defense and warfare. I'm Karen Chamas.
President Trump today will host Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House as he calls on the country to take in Gaza refugees to make room for U.S. development of the territory. Today's visit comes at a perilous moment for the ongoing ceasefire in Gaza, as Hamas has said it is pausing future releases of hostages, and as President Trump calls for Israel to resume fighting if all those remaining in captivity are not freed by this weekend. Just last week, Trump proposed the U.S. take control of Gaza and turn it into what he called the Riviera of the Middle East. Meanwhile, Hamas's threat to delay the next planned release of Israeli hostages from the Gaza Strip has put the fragile ceasefire at risk. It has brought new dismay for Israelis who watched the latest Hamas handover of hostages in growing horror over the weekend as 3 emaciated men were released from custody. The next handover of hostages had been scheduled for Saturday, and families say time is running out for those still alive. Israel now awaits what comes from a security cabinet meeting this morning that was moved up after the Hamas announcement. President Trump has warned Hamas that it must release all remaining hostages or, quote, all hell will break loose. Those are the news headlines. I'm Max Pringle.